Hello everybody and welcome to my podcast, Unwind and Knit with me. My name is Lisa. I'm coming to you from Christchurch in New Zealand, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about my knitting and my yarn and patterns. And welcome. I just love this knitting community and I love all the support I get. So to all of my returning viewers, thank you. And to any new viewers, welcome. Please subscribe. Always give the thumbs up if you like the content. That's much appreciated. You can follow me on social media, on Instagram as Unwind and Knit with me, Facebook Unwind and Knit with me, but we also have a community Facebook group which is Unwind and Knit, and it's a wee neat little community where you can get on there and post things and interact with other knitters within our little knitting community. I often post in there what I'm up to, what I've been knitting, what I've been doing. So yeah, it's just a really nice little community there. You will get asked a series of 3 questions agreeing to the terms and conditions. So please answer those 3 questions and then you will be approved by a moderator. So yeah, thank you very much and welcome. This feels a little bit strange because I'm doing this podcast to come to you in the future. So I'm going to be out of the country for 25 days. So I'm filming here from home and I am going to schedule this post to come out to you in the internet world around the 21st of November. And when that happens, I will be in Salzburg, I think. And I think that's Germany. We're moving around quite a bit. By the time you see this, I would have already been to Amsterdam, which is part of the trip I'm really looking forward to. So I'm going to visit Stephen and Penelope's shop. So if you have been following me on social media, you have probably seen some photos that I've shared by the time this goes to air of Amsterdam and Bruges and Ghent, which is in Belgium. Yeah, it's a pretty busy time. So yeah, pretty excited. What I wanted to do is I've always wanted to do a podcast just about patterns that I have. I have a fairly big selection of patterns and I want to share some of them with you. Some of them you've seen. If you've been with me from the beginning, you have seen. If I talk about them again, it's because I still really love them and I probably want to knit another one of them. So I'm going to share those with you. I do recommend that you have pen and paper ready in case you see patterns that you like, but maybe also if you're in front of your computer, you might have Ravelry open, where you can probably pause me and jump over to Ravelry, and if it's a pattern you love, add that to your favourites. In my last podcast, there was one thing I missed out, and that was my update on the Stephen West shawl knit along. So I have participated in that for the first time. So it's my first Stephen West MCAL, and so I just want to share my progress. What I really want to say is I'm loving it, and because all clues have come out now, I've seen all the spoilers and I've seen what it's going to look like at the end, and it does excite me and I am really loving it. I have heard lots of mixed reviews on it, but that's my opinion. I do love it. I'm still on the first section. There it is there. What I have done though is, because I know I'm not going to take this away with me, it's too complex and it's going to be too big. So it is on hold and I'm really not going to get any of this done until my return. But that's my progress on stage section 1. And I thought I would just share the 3 colours. I was a little bit undecided at the beginning, but I'm really happy now with the choices I've made, especially now that I've seen what it's going to look like in the end. So that is my progress on my Stephen West, and I'm a fan. I can't help it. I've got to say it. I am just a really big fan of Stephen West. I love his tutorials, and he actually really inspires me. I love his energy for knitting and for the knitting community and what he does. And that's why I'm really looking forward to going to the shop. He doesn't work in the shop, so I'm not going to meet him, obviously. But, yeah, I am excited about it. Because, yes, I'm a fan. The other little update I'll give you, if you do follow me on our community Facebook, I posted a photo yesterday. So I've been doing this Ripple Bralette by Jessie Maed, and I finished it. So I wanted to share that with you. But what happened, I tried it on and I wasn't happy with the cast on, that it's bottom up. And the cast on that I did, it actually was a little bit tight around my waist. So I was, I didn't know what to do. Well, I did know what to do, and I actually took to it with the scissors. And I undone the cast on, and I ripped it back a few rows, and I picked up the stitches from the band, and I've done a couple of rows of just knit, just a couple of rows of stocking stitch. And you can see that there. And then I've just done a really loose cast off, and it has got a wee little curled up edge now, and I've got to say I really like it. I love the curled up edge. So that's my finished Ripple Bralette. That, I know it looks really tiny. It's a 3x3 rib, and it does actually fit me. A funny thing that happened when I posted it on Facebook, I posted where I'd taken to it with the scissors, and my daughter saw it. She follows me on Facebook, my 22-year-old, and she come through with a message, and she said, "Mum, I love it. I want it." So I was really chuffed with that. Yeah, so she'll probably have it. It'll look good on her. I was going to wear this under a white shirt, and I still may. Maybe it'll be a garment that we share. Maybe it'll be something that I'll cast on again. And it actually made me think, oh, maybe I should throw the pattern in, because I may buy a single skein, and it might be something I can cast on when I'm away. So that's the finished Ripple Bralette by Jessie Maed. I highly recommend it. It was a really well written pattern. It's really easy because the whole body is just 3x3 rib, and the instructions for the decreases for this bra section are really easy. And then there's that I-cord band, and I just love an I-cord. So that's my first pattern that I'm sharing with you, and it's actually a finished object, which I wasn't expecting to have a finished object for you. The next two patterns I'm going to talk about, the reason I'm going to mention them is I have had quite a few people come through and say to me, I have not yet taken that step of doing my first top down in the round on circular needles. They're still knitting in the flat on straight needles, and they want to go to that next step. And wow, I wish I could just open my doors and teach everybody how to do it, because it's a really nice step to make. The knitting world has changed a lot. So when I got back into knitting 5 or 6 years ago, I didn't know what Ravelry was. I had never knitted in the round. I didn't know what circular needles were. So a lot's happened and a lot has changed. But the first top down in the round sweater sort of grown up pattern that I did was, bear with me, I have got a lot here, and I have worn this on the podcast before, and I have talked about it as being one of my favorite jerseys. You know that I love it, and it's called the Basic Raglan by Locatelli, and that's it there. If you go onto Ravelry and put in Basic Raglan, I think quite a lot come up. But it's this one here by Locatelli that I really enjoyed doing. It's probably the first garment that I did where I did short rows. I'm not a fan of wrap and turns, and I do often substitute those with German short rows. So if you're not familiar with those, Very Pink Knits is the tutorial that I always go to if I'm not sure of a technique. They're really good tutorials, very clear, and she often does a lot of the movements in slow motion. So that's Very Pink Knits. I will leave all the links below. So everything I'm talking about, every pattern or reference that I make, the links will be in the description box below. But this was my first. It's Basic Raglan by Locatelli. I did it in Southlander, I think, which is a really easy yarn to get here in New Zealand. It's 100% merino, and you can see that Raglan set-in sleeve there. Nice. It is a bit of a wide neckline, which I love. And then it's got a really nice generous band on the bottom. And I wear this a lot. This is my go-to if I have to nick out to the shop or something in the winter and I just need to throw on a jersey. It's this jersey, and it's worn really well, and it's still one of my favorites. So that's pattern number 2. It's Basic Raglan by Locatelli, and it is one that I recommend if you're just getting into knitting in the rounds. So that's it. The other one that I love, and I have recommended to a lot of people, and I have talked a lot about it on this podcast because I wear the jersey a lot, and that's Stripes by Andrea and Mowry. And it is a top-down circular yoke, is what I meant to say. It's not Raglan, it's a yoke style jersey. It is one that you could stash dye for if you've got a lot of sports weight yarn. Any stripe combination would work. So there's mine there. Like I said, I have worn it on this podcast, and I do wear it a lot, and I always get comments when I wear this, probably because it's so colourful. But once again, it has got the wide neck, it's got a lot of short rows. And the other technique in this, if you haven't done it before, do check out the tutorial, but it's jogless stripes, I think the technique is called. And it's a wee little technique, so when you change colours, you don't get a step. And it's a really easy technique. You knit your first round in the new colour, and then when you get to the start of your second round, you pick up a stitch below and you knit the two together. Sorry, you don't pick up the stitch, or do you? Or the bar below, and then you knit that together, and it closes the gap so you don't get a step. And I really recommend that you do that. Check out the tutorials on how to do that jogless stripe technique, and I'm pretty sure Andrea has a link to it in her pattern. I just wanted to check, because on a lot of these I've already made notes, but I grabbed these out at the last minute this morning. I just wanted to check what yarn. So it's 26 stitch gauge, 3.25mm needle for the ribbon. Yeah, so I think any fingering weight or sports weight yarn, but do a swatch. Do a swatch. But that's Stripes by Andrea Mowry. It's one of my favourites, and I've only done the one, and I would really like to do another one soon. The next one I want to show you quickly, and this is the last one of ones that I have done and featured here before, but it is also a favourite, It's Caitlin Hunter. I love Caitlin Hunter's design, and this one's called Misurina. Now she's done this in a fingering weight yarn that was 90% wool, 10% linen. Yes, 90% merino, 10% linen. I did mine in a sock yarn. I had a couple of skeins of sock yarn in my stash, and the contrast colour I had a small amount of, it was a Malabrigo dark brown. So when I knitted mine, I knitted it purely out of stash, and I wear it a lot. I haven't got it here to show you. I left it upstairs, but you have seen it before if you have followed my podcast. I didn't do the crop version. I never do a real cropped version. I always add length to it. I did the short sleeves, and so you can adjust those sleeves. There is a little bit of cable work in it. There's lace work and there's colour work. So this pattern has got, it's got enough to keep you interested, but it's not too difficult. So, and that's the sort of pattern I like. I like a little bit of variety and something to keep me engaged, but it's not difficult, and I would say an adventurous beginner could do this. It's top down in the round, there are short rows, there's a little bit of cabling, a little bit of lace, and a little bit of colour work. It's only one colour, so you are only ever carrying one strand of one colour. I don't know how to describe that. Yeah. So that's Misurina by Caitlin Hunter. Oh, there is one more that I'm going to show you that you've seen. So what I'm wearing is the Kuutar tee by Sari Nordlund. In my last podcast, I had it hanging on the wall behind, but this is it here. Yeah, the ribbing is it called twisted rib, where you knit into the back of your knit stitch. So it's got nice ribbing, and I just love this lace work. I did this in a cotton, and I do wear it a lot in the winter. And once again, I do recommend it for an adventurous beginner. The pattern's well written, and if you want to dabble into a bit of lace work, this is a really nice one to do. So that's the pattern, Kuutar tee by Sari Nordlund. But I got on my last episode, I got onto Ravelry so as I could put the link below in my last podcast. And what I noticed, I did say she does the Kuutar sweater, which is a long sleeve, but she's now doing one that's called the Kuutar top, and it's singlet. It has little shoestring straps that are done in an I-cord. So it features this same lace work, but in a wee little singlet. So that is now on my list. So there's the three Kuutars: Kuutar tee, Kuutar sweater, and Kuutar singlet. Or it's actually called Kuutar top. You could literally have one of these for every season of the year. So that's it there. I really want to do the Kuutar top with the singlet style. I think it'll be a really nice pattern. I'm just going to pause for a moment. Okay, in my last podcast, I talked about a free pattern from Uknits, which are based in Canada. It's EWEKNIT, so I think it's pronounced Uknits. And the sweater I was referring to was this one here, Dream Sweater. And I hadn't been to the printer to get my copy. Now, this is a free pattern. You can go onto their website, or Ravelry will also give you the link that takes you to their website, and you sign up for their newsletter, which I do recommend because I have some really good patterns. And this is the pattern that you get for free. And who doesn't love a free pattern? So it's done in DK, and it's colour work yoke. It does have a lot of texture in the body, and I don't know if you can see that. no, it's not showing up too well, but in the body and the sleeve there is some lace work. Oh, you wouldn't call it lace work. There's some patterning going on that gives you a bit of texture. So there's texture and colour. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that because I don't know too much about it except it's DK and it's a free pattern. I will leave the link below for this, so you can jump on and grab that. I think it took a day or two to actually come back in my email with the download, with the free download. So it may not happen instantly. It may take 24 or 48 hours for the pattern to actually appear. But no, nice free pattern. Okay, so now we're getting into some new ground. This one here is called Machi by Rievive, M-A-C-H-I. Now this is done, this particular one is done in Myak lace, baby Myak lace and Myak held together. So it's a 20 stitch gauge, so I would put that at a DK weight. I did go on and have a look at a lot of there are a lot of projects. So if you go into Ravelry into this pattern, click on the projects link above and you'll see what everyone else has done. And a lot of people have done this in different yarns. There were a lot of comments that said they struggled to get gauge, but the end result has been really good. So do swatch, like the fabric and work it out. But it has a lot of interest. I am going to show you another photo. So this one shows it a bit more. There is detail down the seam on the side. There's detail around the ribbon. There's detail all the way down the arm. And there's also a braid across the drop shoulder. And all that detail is showing up in this photo. You can see the braid here running down the seam. So I have had this in my collection for a while now. I think when I first got it, I didn't do anything with it because I knew I could get Myak fibre. I'd have to buy it online and have it sent to me. But when I had a good look at this, I thought I could do this in any DK yarn. And I'm actually going to do this in my Appledore DK, which I probably didn't mention at the beginning. I do have an online store, mindandknit.com. And the Appledore DK comes from the UK, from a mill called John Urban Textiles. And I know that I will easily get the 20 stitch gauge with Appledore DK, but any DK will work for this pattern. I wasn't sure until I got on and had a look at everyone else's projects, and that then gave me the confidence that I could do this pattern in any DK. So it's called Machi by Rievive, and I will leave the link below. I think what I'll say is it took me a little while to be comfortable with Ravelry. I know when I first got on it, I was very confused, and I signed up and then I didn't go back to it for about 6 months. I found it quite difficult to navigate. But now that, as you know, I often talk about the Ravelry rabbit hole, I'm a lot more confident with it now. But I never used to check out other people's projects. I really didn't know what that feature was. So I really do recommend, if you go on and have a look at a pattern and it interests you, click on projects and it shows you what everyone else has done, and it gives you an insight because everyone's spin on a pattern can be different with different yarns that they use. And yeah, so I really do recommend that you look at the project notes. Project notes of what other people have done. Now this pattern Calyx, I'm going to pronounce it. It's probably wrong. I very first saw this about a year ago, and Tracy from the Grocery Girls was wearing it, and I really, really liked it. So that's it here. It's got a nice wide neckline, which I like. It has, as you can see, lace work down the front and also lace work down the sleeve. Excuse me. I have that picture there, and that really details the lace work down the sleeve, which is really, really pretty. And there's a picture of the back, which is plain. So you've got the lace work in the front and then the plain back. And let me just check my notes on that one. Okay, so that a few things that I've highlighted here. It is slightly boxy, 3/4 length sleeves. This one is from the bottom up, not top down, bottom up, which isn't normally my favourite. There are short rows there. So she refers to it as a saddle shoulder, which I have done before. So I think what that is, that there is just a little bit more thought put into the shaping in the shoulder, which is quite nice. I-cord cuffs. So she's done that in a linen silk wool blend, 19 stitch gauge. I did have a post-it note. Sorry, bear with me. I'll just pause. Okay, I also decided that I would probably get along a lot better if I had my glasses on so I could read. So she has actually used Shibui reed, which is linen. The gauge is 19 stitch gauge, so you could do this in any DK weight yarn. The needle size she's recommended, you change needle size quite a few times for different parts of the pattern, a 3.25 up to a 4.5. So most of the body work's done in a 4.5. Yeah. So DK weight, once again, I could do that in Appledore DK, but she's done 100% linen. But once again, jump on and have a look at the other different projects that people have done. I just wanted to show you that front page again, because I know I haven't pronounced it correctly. Sorry for the rustling of paper. I really did actually think I was more organised. It's C-A-L-Y-X, Calyx, and I will leave the link below for that one. Now, excuse me. It appears that I wasn't as organised as I thought I was going to be. But anyway, let's continue. This next pattern, I love it. I think it's just beautiful. It's flowy. It's feminine. It's called Alive and Kicking by Melanie Berg. Alive and Kicking. So you can see the lace work through the top. But what I love about this is this A-line shaping, so it actually comes down, and I think that's really flattering. And it's got the small little sleeve. There's another picture of it there. Nice wide neckline. So this pattern, Alive and Kicking, she's actually done it in silk. 100% silk, which I don't think I would do. It's done at a 26 stitch gauge, so finger in weight yarn. So you may have a blend of a silk blend, but it's done on a 3.25. I think that's for the ribbon. 3.25? No, 3.25 for the whole garment. So it is a finger in weight gauge. And I think it's just a really beautiful pattern. So that's Alive and Kicking by Melanie Berg. The next couple that I'm showing you are actually summer weight garments, short sleeve, which is great for us over here in the Southern Hemisphere because we're in our summer. But if you're in the colder climates, you may want to plan for your next summer. So yeah, the next few are summer garments. Owlcat Designs is this one, and it's called Summer Haze. This has been done in a sock yarn, so finger in weight yarn. It's a 24 stitch gauge, and I think this would be lovely in any sock yarn that you may have, and probably indie dyed yarn. I think you could do this in a speckle yarn. That's it there, Summer Haze, and there's the pictures. So it has this beautiful lace work around the top. It is a top down garment with a bit of lace work. And there wasn't another photo. So that's it there. I don't know if that's going to show up, that photo there. No. The lace work on this is beautiful. I think it's just really lovely and feminine. It's a really wide neck. It's got a bit of scalloping shaping around the neckline. But Summer Haze, I'll leave the link below. And I think it's nice to have a, I wanted to show you a pattern that you could use your sock yarn. I know that we all buy indie dyed sock yarn, speckly yarn, that yarn with a bit of difference, I think would be perfect for that pattern. Now this next pattern I'm going to show you, I have talked about before because it's one that I really want to do, and I just haven't got around to doing it. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's IRO. It's by Knitting for Breakfast. They do a lot of lovely colour work patterns. And this particular one here, it's short sleeved, it's cropped, it's top down, circular. And this particular one has 8 colours, but they do also do the pattern if you want to do it in 2 colours. So that's the 8 colour one there. You only ever work with 2 strands, so you're only ever carrying 2 strands at a time, which really appeals to me. And this pattern just, yeah, it just talks to me. So it's done in a light finger and weight yarn. So the yarn I actually bought for this, and I bought 8 colours, was Hulsgarn, which I think you can get here in New Zealand from a retailer, and I'll leave the link below. But it is a fairly common yarn around the world. So yeah, I'll just show you there that a range of colours, and that's the yoke, the top down yoke. So Knitting for Breakfast is the designer. Well, it's the company that bring the pattern out, and it's IRO. The word IRO, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it actually means colours in Japanese. And in this project, yeah, they've used 8 colours, but you can do a 2 colour version. I did check out some of the projects, and I don't know where I saw it, but I have actually seen it done in black and white. So you could really have fun with this pattern. If you want to dabble into a bit of colour work, it is a good one because it's top down in the round. Yoke construction is the word I'm trying to think of, and you are only ever using 2 colours at a time. So that's that one there. Short sleeve, cropped, and once again it's a summer weight, 4-ply short sleeve, so I would consider that a summer jersey. What I love about these designs, because even this one here, is I do still wear these in the winter with a I call them a base layer, but like a merino under them, and which appeals to me because I get to wear them all year round. So don't think of your short sleeve summer knit garments as just being for summer. I wear them all year round. So yeah, okay. This isn't flowing as well as what I was hoping it was going to. Yeah, I have done my homework and I have made notes, but I feel like I'm kind of stumbling a little bit. So bear with me. This next pattern I have talked about before as well. It's by Locatelli. Yeah, I had to check that. It's definitely from Locatelli, and it's called Linho. This is done in a fingering weight yarn, and it has that beautiful lace work down the front. Can be done in short sleeve or long sleeve. That picture there shows it, a nice photo of it, and that's been, she's wearing like a black singlet under that. So once again, you could wear this as a summer seasonal piece, or you could layer it up in the winter. Like I said, I would definitely layer that up. I would wear that all year round. I did get as far as actually swatching for this particular garment. And the yarn that I've used once again is Hulst yarn, which is a fingering weight yarn. So once again, you could do this in any fingering weight yarn. This is 100% wool. What did she actually use? Quince & Co. Sparrow by Quince & Co. Which is a fingering weight linen. Yeah, and she says, or you could use any similar fingering weight yarn. But that was, my intention was to do it with, in this colour, which is a dark blue, and that was in Hulst yarn. So that's Linho by Locatelli. Now the next two I'm going to show you are, once again, they are summer knits. And what we've got here is the Flirty lace tank and the Flirty lace tee. So once again, it's similar pattern, but done in 2 styles. It is I thought I took better notes, I really did. So it's done in a fingering weight yarn, and it is done, I think this one's done bottom up, the other one's done top down, and that's where I'm getting a bit confused. I'm looking for a better photo. Okay. So that's it there. It's called the Flirty lace tee. And there's a photo of it there blocked, so you can really see that lace work. I made some notes on the other one. So this other one, sorry, that's the Flirty lace tank. This one is the Flirty Lace Tee. So this one actually has sleeves on it, and this one's done top down in a fingering weight yarn. That's it there. So it's the same designer, and the patterns are quite different. So the Flirty Lace Tee is bottom up, and it's got fine straps across the shoulder. It's the Flirty Lace Tank, and the Flirty Lace Tee is actually more of a t-shirt with longer sleeves. And that one's done top down with lace. They're by Karina. Hope that helps. Oh dear. Okay. I have definitely taken better notes for this one. So this one's, it's an Isabell Kraemer pattern, and it's been done in Quince & Co. And it's called Cullum. Top down, lace work. Very feminine. Here's another photo of it there. A friend of mine has knitted this. Light and lacy, basic flattering. She's done it in linen once again. 24 stitch gauge on a 3.5mm needle. It is an Isabell Kraemer design, and it's called Cullum. Hope you like that one. I like that one. It's quite flattering. This one I love. I only purchased this within the last 10 days, so it is new in my collection. Unfortunately, I know that the picture doesn't show much detail, so I really recommend with this one that you jump onto Ravelry, jump online and have a look at it. So it's called Moroccan Nights. It's an A-line raglan. It's top down. That's it there. Moroccan Nights. And you can't see any detail in that, but this pattern actually has a lot of detail. So it's top down. The yoke is shaped with short rows. It's a raglan sleeve. It's a wide boat neck. I'm just reading through the notes. Top down construction, easy texture, fun. So there's cable. There's a cable that runs all the way down the shoulder. There is moss stitch panels through the back and the front. And like I said, I'm going to show you this picture. But unfortunately, because it's dark blue, it's really not showing up. But there is moss stitch paneling and also cabling. So I really recommend with this pattern that you jump online and have a look at it on Ravelry. She's actually used Holsgarn Super Soft in this, which is the swatch that I showed you before. It's 22 to 24 stitch gauge. So definitely sits in that light fingering weight. 3.5mm needles. But yeah, I just love the A-line shaping. I love the cabling down the sleeve. I love the boat neck. And I wish this picture showed up better on camera, but it really doesn't. Even in this photo, even in this copy that I've printed, it's just not showing up the detail. But that's called Moroccan Nights. And I'm going to leave all the links below for that one. Who's that by? La Maison Riliili. Oh, hang on. It's Knitting Therapy is the company that brought that one out. I have heard of knitting therapy. I think I might follow them on Instagram. Now this next pattern, it actually excites me as well. And it is fairly new in my collection. It's called the Never Ending Story. And it's a sweater. Actually, I might show you that photo, probably shows up better. So that's it there. And I will show you that front, because that's not going to show up very well. But that's it there. Never Ending Story sweater. This is by PaulaM. This is a classic V-neck sweater. It's worked top down. And the reason I really want to do this, it's done in half fisherman's rib. And I haven't done fisherman's rib. I don't know why. I should have. You think with the amount of knitting that I do and the amount of knitting that I've done, that I should have done fisherman rib. But I have not done fisherman's rib, and that's why I wanted to do this pattern. I think it's just a really classic piece, yeah, that I could have in my wardrobe. The top part of it is actually worked in the flat. So you work the back, and then you come down and you work the front, and then you join it in the round. So although it is top down, it's worked flat until you join it in the rounds. Let's see if I've got another picture. I was just looking for the gauge on that one. I don't know why I didn't highlight that. No, I haven't got a better picture. So that's, yeah, The Never Ending Story by PaulaM. And it's, yeah, a classic V-neck, half fisherman's rib. So if you're keen to try fisherman's rib, if you haven't done it before, I think it's a nice squishy type of pattern. I would never compare it to brioche, but I think it has that squishiness that brioche has. A whole lot easier than brioche. Brioche is something that I really haven't mastered. I haven't spent a lot of time doing brioche. I would really like to. So this next sweater, I may have shown it. I may have shown it to you. I did. I know I did. But it's here because I love it, and it's one that I want to do. Ilha sweater. Is it there? Okay. Now this one here is it's a 21 stitch gauge, and I actually know that I could do that in the Yarnadelic. I think it would be really nice done in the Yarnadelic. It is top down in the round. It has raglan sleeves. Yeah, and it also has, once again, a braid down the side, and that's really appealing to me lately. So I think when we sort of divide for the sleeves and then we work down. Quite often we're just working down in stocking stitch, and it's just a plain finish. But a couple of these patterns that I have that have appealed to me recently have a braid or a feature down the underarm seam, and that's really appealing to me. Yeah, they have recommended fingering to a sports weight, so definitely the Yarnadelic would suit this pattern. There's also a basket, I think they call it a basket weave pattern, which runs around the bottom band here. So you've got detail in the band, you've got detail down the seam, and then you've got this beautiful lace work yoke. So once again, jump onto Rav, have a look at the other photos that will show all of that detail. Definitely one that I want to do. still got a few more. I hope you found something or some sort of inspiration with these patterns. There is so much available to us now. Yeah, there is just so much available, and I think Ravelry is such a it's just such a wonderful tool, because like I said, you know, you can look at a pattern, but with Ravelry you can actually go on and have a look at other people's projects, and that gives you more of a reality view on the pattern, what other people have done in different yarns. And quite often people will put notes in there of what they liked or what they didn't like about the pattern, so you can actually have that little bit of pre-warning that, okay, that might be a bit difficult, or yeah, it just gives you a whole spin on it. This one's called Cloudersley, and it's Isabell Kraemer, and Isabell Kraemer does some really good classics, just pieces that you know that once they're in your wardrobe, you'll wear them year after year after year. All of her work is what it just really appeals to me. This really classic stuff. So that's it there. So it's got quite a plain front, but it's got a lace panel that runs right down the back. And then it also has some really nice detail along the bottom. Okay, so that's Cloudersley. Let me have a look at my notes here. So 24 stitch gauge. It's recommended a 3.5mm needle. It is top down in a finger into sports weight yarn. Set in sleeve. Okay, I've written on the notes here, which I've got from the pattern. It's a set-in sleeve method that's actually been developed by Susie Myers. So I mentioned this in one of the other patterns. They call it a sleeve cap. A sleeve cap. Yeah. So it's a shaped shoulder that just fits better and just has a little bit more detail in the way that it fits around the shoulder. And like I said, there's detail around the bottom band, which is, it's a slip stitch pattern. So it is really quite easy, but it's a really nice detail, and it's a really nice way to finish off, to finish it off. My yarn recommendations for that, if you were looking at my yarn, is definitely the Yarnadelic, but it could also be done in nurturing fibres if you like that real high twist. It's a superwash sock yarn. So either one of those would work really well for that pattern, and I will leave the links to those yarns with this pattern in my show notes. The reason I say the nurturing fibres, that the super twist, it is a superwash sock yarn, but it's got a really high twist, and the high twist has really good stitch definition, and so I really think it would make this panel just pop. It would really, the stitch definition would really pop using that yarn. Okay, the next two are basics. This next one I'm going to show you is Locatelli, and I have got some friends that have said to me that this was their first top-down sweater in the round. So my recommendation at the beginning was Locatelli's Basic Raglan. Well, this is another one of Locatelli's, and it's called the Super Simple Summer Sweater. That's lots of S's in that. Super Simple Summer Sweater. I know that the girls, the grocery girls, Tracy on the grocery girls, actually I think both Tracy and Joji have done this pattern. That's it there. And it's a basic raglan, top down in the round. I think it's raglan. Let's check my notes. But this one's actually done in a worsted weight yarn, so a heavier yarn. The stitch gauge is 17 It's actually 17.5. So it is done in a worsted weight and a heavyweight yarn, which doesn't normally appeal to me. I actually find worsted weight yarns just too hot for me. And, you know, so I suppose that depends on what climate that you live in. Super simple. And I know that one of my knit groups, one of the ladies there did this as her very first top down in the round sweater. So it's the only pattern that I've actually shown you that is worsted weight, and that's because I always lean towards the fingering or DK. And even DK, I like a light DK, not a big fluffy DK. But that's Joji Locatelli's super simple summer sweater. It's been been a really popular choice for a lot of people. If you have a look on Ravelry, I think there's just hundreds and hundreds of projects where people have knitted that sweater. So, and the last one, I wasn't going to mention this one because I have talked about it a little bit in a couple of my podcasts, because it's actually what I'm working on at the moment, and it's actually one of the projects that I'm taking away with me. But it's the Cumulus Tee by Petite Knits. But when I was thinking about people that they're just coming back into knitting and they want something simple to do top down in the rounds, for some reason, I just thought this should be on the list because it really is quite a simple construction. It's just short rows. You knit it flat while you're doing the V, and then you join in the rounds. So the top of it is knitted flat. But I think it would be a really nice introduction. And also for somebody that's just starting or just getting back into knitting, I think it's really important that you do something that you're actually going to love and that you're actually going to wear, that you're not just doing it because somebody said it would be a good one to do. You've got to know that you want to wear it and that you're going to love it. And that's why I wanted to feature this one, because with this one too, when I talk about the simplicity of it, this V-neck, there's no finishing that needs to be done on it. The way you do it and the way you do your increases, it rolls back on itself, and that's actually the finishing to it, is the way it actually rolls back. So you're not having to pick up stitches to do any ribbing. It is, you just knit it, and that's the finishing on it. There is an I-cord finish at the waist and on the sleeve, but I recommend that everybody should do it, an I-cord edge eventually, because once you do it, you'll just love them. You'll just do them forever and ever. This one, you can also adjust the sleeve length. So you can do just a wee little short. You can do a 3/4. It's got that nice deep V-neck, so it is quite feminine and flattering. And it's also quite a loose-fitting garment. And it is also one that I think you could do a bit of shaping there. If you wanted a little bit more boxy, you could do a bit of A-line shaping by just doing some subtle increases. Yeah, it's easy, and I think you could modify it. And I think I said in my last podcast, I'll do more of these because they are simple, they are portable, they're not hard. The only thing that you're doing is keeping track of your V-neck increases. And once I wrote like a wee little spreadsheet, so I got all my increases perfect, and I didn't have to keep referring to the pattern. I found it quite easy, and it is one that I will do again. So that's Petite Knits Cumulus Tee. They also do a Cumulus blouse, which is a long sleeve version. I think that's, I have a couple here, but I might leave them because I haven't taken notes on them. And I kind of feel, I really hope you've enjoyed this podcast. It hasn't flowed as well as what I would have liked it to have flowed. I thought I took better notes than I actually did. But I think the important thing is that or not important, but I hope that you've got some inspiration by any of those patterns. And what I encourage you to do is jump onto Ravelry, have a look at them, have a look at what other people have done with them, add them to your favourites, and then when you know you really love them and there's something there that you really want to knit, then you can purchase it and make a start on it. I did just want to do a wee quick shop update. While I'm away, my daughter will be looking after my online store, but I just wanted to tell you I have just restocked the sock rulers. I think they're $11 or $12. But if you're a sock knitter and you do toe-up, these are amazing. They are really, really good. On mine, I've put little lines in there so I know that's my measurement, that's my daughter, that's my husband. So I always carry that in my bag with my sock knitting. Yeah, so I've measured their foot so I know exactly when to stop and then start doing the heel and the gusset. So that's a sock ruler. The other thing is these are Kitchener Stitch cheat key rings. So once again, if you're a sock knitter and you do cuff down, you always have to do a Kitchener stitch, and this gives you the abbreviation purl front on, purl back on, purl front off, purl front on. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've ever done a Kitchener stitch. I have one of these attached to my Notions bag that is in my sock knitting bag. So, and these, they're not expensive either. I should have had that price list. $8. So they're the Kitchener Stitch keyring. They're $8. And I'm just checking. The sock ruler is $12. These also make really good gifts if you're buying for Christmas presents or Secret Santas within your knit group, and you know that the person that you're buying for is a sock knitter. These are really good. The other one is my Knitter's Balm. So that's it there. The label has changed. It's a beautiful, rich balm. I always have one of these in my knitting bag. You can use them and it doesn't affect the yarn. So if you've sort of got dry skin and it's catching on your yarn, or dry cuticles it's catching, you can use that balm and then keep knitting. You don't have to worry about it, the oiliness or the grease of it affecting your knitting. So I always have one of those in my knitting bag. That's the small one, it's $11, and then there is a big large 85 gram which is $17. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because by the time I get back, you may have started your Christmas shopping. It's a scary thought, isn't it? I went shopping last night with my daughter to a department store, and all the Christmas stuff is out. And when I say that, I'm filming this on November the 5th. You're not seeing it until a bit later on in the month. But yeah, beginning in November, and Christmas is happening out there. It was really quite a disturbing, not disturbing, but it was quite confronting. Oh my God. By the time I get back, it's going to be full-blown preparations for Christmas. My daughter has said, Mum, while you're away, can I put the Christmas tree up? So I'll just say I love Christmas, and I do decorate my house. I have a big tree. I have all the trimmings. I have the stockings that go on the mantelpiece over the fireplace. So yeah, I'm that person that like goes all out at Christmas. But my daughter is going to take it over this year. So by the time when I get home, I'm going to walk into my house already all done for Christmas. She knows how to do it. She's helped me do it for many years. And it's quite exciting. Yeah. So anyway, I hope by the time you get to watch this that everything is good in the world. I'll be in Germany, I think. Yeah, I'll be having a good time. I hope you enjoy the photos that I put on my social media. I do intend to take some videos of my travels and the yarn stores I visit, and I am not going to upload the videos. I'm going to save them for my podcast when I get home, and I will show you some footage of some videos in my next podcast. But I hope you enjoy the photos that I put up on my social media. So that once again is Instagram, Unwind and Knit with Me, Facebook, Unwind and Knit with Me. But the community, our small community Facebook is Unwind and Knit. And my yarn store, my little shop here, is unwindandknit.com. Thank you everybody that has sat with me today. I hope it has flowed okay, and I hope you've taken something from it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, and I will see you mid-December. Thank you very much. See you then. Bye.